So, the Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer beta. The first time we as a community will get our hands on with the game for the next year is coming later this week. While we already discussed the upcoming Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer reveal event at COD Next the other day and everything you need to know about that, today I want to detail what's coming immediately after COD Next in the way of the multiplayer beta. So as we go along, drop your thoughts down below. What are you hoping to see out of the multiplayer reveal for Modern Warfare 3 as well as the playable beta? If you enjoyed the video, you find it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing to stay up to date with all things Modern Warfare 3 ahead of COD Next for the reveal and everything to follow. We'll have a ton of content upcoming, and I'd love to have you in the community. Finally, make sure you check out my friends over at Gamer Advantage for the best blue light glasses on the market, where code Espresso right now is a very rare 20% off your entire order instead of 10 as it normally is, but more on that a little later. For now, let's jump into it. So, full disclosure, this video was recorded, edited, and ready to publish as of last Wednesday. I started traveling here for COD Next and visiting some friends out west Wednesday evening, Thursday morning, so I've been gone from my setup for quite a few days now at this point. But if there's any updates or adjustments, fingers crossed there's not too many needed here, I'll keep you posted in the pinned comment of this video. That said, let's get into it. Firstly, when is the multiplayer beta for Modern Warfare 3? Well, of course, as with all betas since the original with Black Ops 3 back in the day, we will have 2 weekends here of the beta. Weekend 1 is PlayStation Early Access and only available for those that do have PlayStation consoles, and Weekend 2 is the cross-play beta that's open for everybody, PlayStation, Xbox, and PC platforms. Now, as of beta Weekend 1, that starts on October 6th here. Again, the day following COD Next and that reveal, so you won't have to wait too long from whenever you see everything shown off to when you can actually play it. The beta presumably starting at 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon Eastern, 5 p.m. in the UK, and elsewhere in the world accordingly. Those first 2 days, October 6th and 7th, are reserved only for early access for PlayStation, which means you need a beta code to end up accessing it. October 8th to the 10th, though, to finish out the weekend, that's when it's open for anyone on PlayStation platforms. You don't have to have a beta code or anything like that. You can just simply download it and play it if you're on PlayStation. Weekend 2 then picks up as the cross-play beta on October 12th, just a few days later here at that, where it's early access for Xbox and PC, so you need a beta code for those platforms, but PlayStation continues on in that open beta session, so anyone on PlayStation can play the entire Weekend 2, no problem. Then October 14th to the 16th to round out Weekend 2, that's when it's open for all players, all platforms, Xbox, PC, PlayStation, doesn't matter. You can just simply download the game and try it out for yourself in the beta format. So that's something that it really depends on when you want to jump in and your sort of commitment level to it. If you want to get a beta code, that's something you can play early for those 2 weekends. If not, you just have to wait until the latter half of both weekends, or if you're on PlayStation, just the latter half of the first. But that said, if you want to take advantage of the full beta, how do you get a beta code? Well, they are firstly pre-order and pre-purchase incentives, so any version of the game doesn't matter. You can go to a mom and pop shop, put like $5 down sometimes, get a beta code with that, or if you do it digitally, a lot of times, like for Xbox and PlayStation, BNet, it'll end up pre-purchasing, so you have to put the whole amount down, and I don't think you can refund that stuff, or if you can, not nearly as easy as just simply going back to like a GameStop or mom and pop shop where you're like, hey, I'm gonna cancel my pre-order. But if that's not your fancy, there also was a bunch of event codes for CDL viewership drops. Things like World Series of Warzone gave entry tickets where you could get 3 entry tickets and it would be like a raffle to get that. But also there are a few partnered promotions like Comcast and Call of Duty partner up on some stuff, so Xfinity internet customers can end up getting a free beta code through their account with Comcast. But if none of that applies to you, just keep an eye out, because I'm sure Call of Duty, as they always do, will be tweeting and giving out a ton of codes to get as many people as possible interested and willing to try out the game. So there's an ample amount of ways to get a beta code, but regardless, that's how you end up getting one, though there is a different download code usually, which is something that coincides with preloads for the beta, which is something where those codes we just mentioned from retailers, from other places that will give you an actual redemption code, that's something you have to go and redeem it on your accounts on callofduty.com/beta redeem. But the actual download code to give you like a store code for PlayStation storefront or Xbox's storefront, that comes a little later, which is interjecting here a few days later now, Espresso from the future or present. Don't really know how that's going to work, but either way, coming back for some revisions here while on my laptop here in LA ahead of COD Next. Firstly, apologies for the difference in audio. The mic I have isn't the studio quality one that I have back in my office, but download codes have started to go out now for the beta, which means you should check your email associated with your COD account and grab that code if you did end up redeeming it on callofduty.com/beta redeem. I think it may only be for PlayStation
application at the moment, since week 2 is still a little ways away, but you're able to go to the store and redeem that code, and that should allow you then to download the beta application, and as a result, also allow you to preload the game. That so come 10 a.m. Pacific time on Friday, you can jump right in, meaning that you can download it right now, get ready, again, so that once the time gate is up, you can jump right into Modern Warfare 3's multiplayer if you so choose. Now, let's talk a little bit about content for Modern Warfare 3's multiplayer beta. Admittedly, for being so close to the beta itself, a lot of what to expect beyond just maps is kind of still a mystery in regards to things like weapons, modes, operators, and so on. But we do know that we'll be playing on the maps of Favela, Estate, Skid Row, and Rust, and High Rise is coming in weekend 2. So 5 of the classics, High Rise probably getting a lot of people stoked for the crossplay beta, but beyond that, what we can expect filling in the gaps with other content, again, like weapons, operators, modes, and such, is everything that we can see at COD Next.
All of that's revealed, that is something you can expect to play yourself. The COD Next build is going to be that beta build. There's not going to be any difference here from COD Next and what the streamers and content creators there play versus what is played globally the next day. Again, specifics not necessarily known, but I'd expect 3 to 4 weapons per category max. So like 3 to 4 assault rifles, 3 to 4 SMGs. Honestly, I'm not expecting even more than like 2 in some categories. Like snipers, I wouldn't expect them to put 3 or 4 into the beta because historically, it's not exactly how that goes. I'd also expect a small selection of modes. Previously, we've seen things like TDM, Domination, Hardpoint. Control was in the Cold War beta, if I'm not mistaken. I think we saw Search maybe in the Cold War beta as well. It might have been Vanguard, can't remember off the top of my head, but not the whole host of all game modes. We also might see Cutthroat, that 3v3v3 gunfight variant, because that is one thing that they kind of put forward as one of their premier new game modes. But honestly, every single year there's one of those game modes that like the developers are really keen on and then just it never catches traction. Last year's it was Prisoner Rescue and Third Person. Third Person kind of does have a cult following, but in terms of Prisoner Rescue, those player numbers are almost non-existent. And then also, again, I'd expect to see Ground War at some point. One additional thing here to expect is that we will seemingly be able to have the Vault Edition items once again like we did with last year's beta from Modern Warfare 2. This time around though, you'll have 2 weapon vaults to play with instead of just one. So for those that have digitally pre-purchased the Vault Edition, you'll have that available to play around with as well. Is that something that it should be the green light to go ahead and get it? Absolutely not. That's just something that's purely cosmetic. If you know you're going to get it and you're already keen on that Vault Edition, it's just an added bonus there, but that's not one of those things that I would say, oh, you should totally pick up the Vault Edition for that. It's not that big a deal. Now, some things that will not happen with the multiplayer beta for Modern Warfare 3. Number 1, full level progression to Prestige and whatever you end up getting. I think last year it was capped at level 30. Whatever you end up getting to in the beta, that does not transfer to Modern Warfare 3 come launch. What you do and rank up in regards to the beta, that's all going to be wiped as soon as the beta is completed. If you're playing for stats, don't worry about it. Don't worry about camping. Go experience the maps. Go run around and see what's different from 2009 to 2023. Go check out the new Ground War map if it makes its way in. Just have fun with it because at the end of the day, none of it matters. Additionally, don't expect every weapon, streak, perk, map, mode, all that kind of stuff to be playable because it's a beta. It's a playable demo here with this. It's not something that's going to be the full experience of the game. And honestly, I always think it's kind of stupid even when some of that stuff is visible but just locked off because at that point you're like, okay, well, I see the full game offering. I can't play it yet, but I see everything that's going to be coming at launch. So like, why should I care past the beta? Infinite Warfare was notorious for that. They had the entire game in the beta. While not everything was playable, you could see literally everything that came to be. Another thing I wouldn't expect is any sort of camos to be visible. I might expect them to be data mined out of the PC game files. We saw that happen last year, surprisingly. Normally that stuff doesn't happen, but on a public front-facing version of the game, don't expect that at all. And then naturally, other parts of the game won't be public. Zombies, campaign, Warzone, that stuff you're not going to get into, so don't expect that either. Now, I reached out for comment to see if what we had last year with Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer beta would have the same thing where there'd be battle pass progression in the prior game. I was told that's not the case here, so it seems like Modern Warfare 3, while playing it, maybe it affects your rank in what you have in Modern Warfare 2 and Season 6 altogether, but at least battle pass, not going to be crediting towards that. So your playtime there, unfortunately, won't be sort of cloned into Modern Warfare 2 to give you progression in that battle pass. Additional things to keep in mind, one of the big ones is, well, experiences preferences may vary. This is the first time the beta will be hands-on playable for every type of system. What we see with everything revealed so far is all high-end PC renders or gameplay capture. What's going to be at COD Next is all high-end PC gameplay capture. So when you have that into consideration, you got to realize that it's going to play slightly differently. It's going to look slightly different on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S versus PC, and way different probably on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One versus a high-end PC rig. So if you're on those platforms, fair warning, probably going to be a lesser experience for those two. I'm hoping that it isn't too much, but again, we're talking about a game that's built for next-gen consoles, then running on consoles that will be 10 years old at that point. So there's going to be definite discrepancies in regards to gameplay experience, but just be open-minded to that and realize that going in. And finally, the last thing, remember to submit feedback. I know that that's something we talk about every single year, and honestly, it's almost kind of pointless to say if you think about this past year, because I said last beta, hey, make sure you submit your feedback. Guess what? Infinity Ward didn't do anything with that feedback. None of it. So while it's easy to be jaded from that, Sledge has historically taken community feedback into account and has made changes for it. A lot of what we see with this beta is probably going to be a gameplay demo and not see actual changes made until maybe say season 1, or maybe before that, a post-launch title update perhaps. But while you might not see some of that change reflected immediately, because it is something that the game is almost certified gold at that point, it is still worth mentioning and giving feedback where applicable. Again, Sledgehammer has in the past taken feedback into account, so fingers crossed they do it again this year. Take to Twitter, Reddit, YouTube comments, wherever. Their comms team does a good job of relaying that back, having known some of those guys personally, but of course all within a respectful manner. If you just cut up on the game and cut up on developers personally, it's usually going to fall on deaf ears. But anyways, that is the multiplayer beta for Modern Warfare 3 and everything that you need to know here going into it. Again, the multiplayer reveal in just a couple of days, the beta immediately to follow. So that is what we're going to call it. Before we wrap everything up though, make sure you check out my friends over at Gamer Advantage for right now a very rare 20% off your entire order of what I think are the best blue light glasses on the market with Code Espresso. I've used their frames for about 2 years now at this point and have been incredibly happy with every single pair. They just recently released their new Diablo frames, so for those of you guys that like aviator style glasses, these are absolutely for you. Now, I can't do nearly enough justice for all the science behind it, but what I can say is they're absolutely the most lightweight, comfortable, and durable frames of any glasses that I've used, and I love their product. Definitely think they've helped my daily productivity. So if you guys want to learn more, at least even check out their stuff, I'd recommend that. But if you want to pick something up for yourself, Code Espresso, again, gets you that very rare 20% off as of right now in a flash sale. So if you guys want to check that out, link in the description below. For now, that's what we're gonna call it. Again, drop your thoughts down below, but if you guys enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing to stay updated with all things Modern Warfare 3 with COD Next and the multiplayer reveal right here live on the channel in a couple of days, and then everything to follow in terms of content. A lot of it upcoming. Make sure you stick it here on the channel. I'd love to have you in the community. But for now, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care and peace.